Hey guys, welcome to Boost Hunter Garage and back to part 2 of our power steering pump and brake booster replacement. Today we're going to get back at it here on the 07. We'll be replacing all those parts that we had taken off last time, and we will flush what we have left. So in my scenario, it'll just be the power steering gearbox we got to flush. So we're going to start out with that, and then we'll go ahead to get all these parts on and get her filled up and all the air bled out. So let's get to it. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and flush out the power steering gearbox, just because that's the only thing I have left. So I went ahead and installed the new line here, and then I left the existing old line that goes from out of the gearbox down to the cooler, just because when we flush it, we're gonna push it this way. I didn't see the point of, I didn't want to push all that through the old or the new stuff and get crud in there. So we're just gonna put the air compressor on this end, blow, and then I just have the line, it was coming out there, and I had this old piece of radiator hose here, so I just end up stuffing it in there, zip tying it there, so hopefully it blows down and into our container here and not make a huge mess. So let's go ahead here. Got the air compressor here with the gun. Also, I just put a bit of tape on the end, obviously to fill the gap, but also so we don't mar up the inside of the fitting at all, just so don't want to wreck any sealing surface. So we'll give her a try here and see. Oh, it's plugged now, doesn't it? Nope. Okay, so here we go. Just gonna put some air to this and put my hand around it, and we'll just see what happens. Alrighty, so we got that. I mean, obviously I couldn't see, you guys probably could see how much was coming out, but it sounded like a lot of air. So all I'm probably gonna do just to finish this off, just to make sure we get the fluid out and get some of our new fluid in, I'll probably grab a funnel, but dump a bit of new power steering fluid just right down this. Obviously it's gonna not take tons, but put a bit down there. Might try blow it a bit more just so that it pushes that through there, and we know all the old fluid's out. And then we'll go ahead and take off that old line there and put the new one on. All right, so as you can see, we got our two new lines installed onto the gearbox there. Got them snugged up nice and tight there. And obviously I started with these ones because once the power steering pump's down in here, they are very hard to get at to tighten them up. And then also you can see underneath here, got the new cooler put up in here with just your two 13 mil bolts that hold it on. And then we got that line coming from the gearbox here, going in, tying into that there. We haven't got this one on here yet. So now we'll move on to getting the pump ready. Okay guys, we're on to the pump now. As you can see, I got the pump gear on here. This is actually probably 3 weeks to a month later since I first started filming this, because I ran into some problems, mainly waiting for my brake booster. It was lost in the mail. And I did have a little bit of trouble putting this on. Originally, I thought, because you can just thread in it's a 3/8 thread. In there, I put a rod that I had and a nut to suck this pump gear down on here. And I was using the impact, it was pushing it down on there. And I got it most of the way, I had maybe a 1/4 inch left, and I snapped that rod off. Luckily, it was sticking out a bit, so I was able to just spin it out with a pair of channel locks. Because I did have this kit, we'll go on to this next. And then I thought I could do it with, I thought it was a grade 8 bolt. It wasn't. I sheared it off in there and actually had to drill it out and get it out. So don't make those mistakes. I think if you had a strong bolt, you could do it that way. But this is the proper way to do it, is with this pulley removal kit or an installer. So, and luckily a buddy of mine ended up having one and gave it to me, and I should have just did this from the beginning because it made a big difference. I'll just show you quickly how it works. There's different sizes of studs, but for this one, what you're gonna do, you would spin this down in there. I'm not gonna fully thread it, but you're gonna get it in there. And then you're gonna take this next size up one that they have. You're gonna spin that on there. Obviously now this will tell you, be smart to use a bit of anti-seize on it just so it doesn't jam up in there. And then you have this bearing, because that's the one thing it always wants to try spin this. So basically put that on, I put the washer on, then this nut here, and you're gonna bring it all the way down. And once you have that there, essentially all I did, had it down, and I used my big impact like nut buster, and just kind of held on to this, and you run it on and it does push it on pretty good. And I just kind of would run a bit and spin it off just so you don't, you know, hammer on it and bury it in there too deep and just be rough on it. So we got that on there. I mean, once you got that, it was actually went on pretty simple. Like I said, you probably could do like a bolt and some washers. Just gonna set this aside. And so while I have this pump here, I'm gonna go ahead and put the line that runs here off the bottom. I'll just look at the old one and kind of see which way it's facing. Obviously it's a lot easier to put it on here now before it's on the truck, because you don't have tons of space. Make sure to put your new O-rings on all your fittings. And then all I did is take a bit of power steering fluid, whether I dump it in a container or just dip my finger in, I just try lubricate this up so that when you tighten this on there, it doesn't snag and rip it or something like that, because you don't want that on your new one. So that was the one thing. As you can see, also I put the new like drain line, you know, I'm trying to do as much as I can outside of the truck before it, just so it's easier to get some of it on. So I'll bolt that line on. And while we're here, I'll talk about the brake booster here. So this is what I was waiting on the longest time. I should have not put this on here to see, but the one thing with this one, they wanted you to swap off your old one is just like the spring and this piston on this side. And if you can see in there, all it's kind of holding is the star kind of shaped thin metal thing. I'm not sure the proper way, but all I did is took a flat blade screwdriver and pried those out and pushed it back in onto this one. And everything seemed to go fine, didn't wreck it or anything. I had to reuse my lines from the old ones. I just went ahead and painted them just so they look a little nicer because they're old. Same thing, new O-rings, lubricated them, got them nice and tight, and now we got this on here. So we can go ahead and put all this in the truck. So I think, and big thing is trying to just keep everything clean. You want to keep everything in your system. So I'm gonna go ahead, get this stuff bolted in. There we go. We got our brake booster in here with master cylinder bolted up to it. And we got our pump down in there, all bolted up in there. It's definitely tough getting down in there to get those tightened up, but we got that in there. And then I'll just quickly show you inside the cab here where your brake booster. So as you can see up in there, you're gonna make sure you get your 4 bolts on there, and then get your clip on here so your brake pedal's hooked back up. So we got that all done. And now we'll just go ahead and obviously hook our lines up to here. And these are 2 different sizes, so you can't screw that up and put the wrong line on. This one obviously being bigger is gonna go on this one. And then we'll go ahead and just finish up, hook up. I'm gonna turn this T, I kind of got wrong, but hook up this drain that goes to the top, and then off the bottom here where it goes down to your cooler, go with that hooked up, and then the other line that I pointed there on the small part of the T is gonna hook up here, take this yellow cap off. So we'll go ahead, get all these lines on, and then I'll show you filling it up, and we will bleed the air out of this. Okay guys, we got everything all hooked up here, got all my drains ran, and then, so I did already fill this up basically almost to the top. There you can see all the drain lines, but you can see already so I had it full all the way up to here, and it's down to here now. So how we're gonna go, I'm gonna top this up again all the way up. And then what you're gonna do, you can see I got the wheels up off the ground. I got the truck lifted up and sitting on jack stands in the front here. And all you're gonna do first, don't start it up. I'm gonna just put the truck to accessory right before you start it up. And then you're just gonna keep working it lock to lock. So turn the steering all the way to the left, all the way to the right, just keep going back and forth. and that's going to keep it moving. Even because I changed the brake booster too, I might just work the brake a little bit. I'm not sure if that helps, but any kind of movement just to work that air out and get everything full. So we'll just keep doing that, and then after that, what you could do is you'll fire the truck up, and you can do it a few times like that. Just keep checking. You want to get all that air out. And one thing, if that doesn't work to get air out, you can use, put a bit of vacuum on it. So like a brake bleeder, what you do, you go on the top of the cap. I've seen guys just use some kind of plug. You put your hose in, you're going to draw a bit of vacuum on it. You don't want to do a ton because you could pop the seals in your new pump or any of that kind of stuff. But you pull a bit of vacuum on it, nothing crazy. Let it sit for say 5 minutes, release your vacuum, and that should help you pull that air through. So I'm gonna go ahead here, I'll just top this up some more. Just use the funnel so it's a little bit easier. We got our little full there. Alright, so I'll just leave the cap off there because I got it way too full. So I'm just going to go on the cap here, turn it to accessory. You can hear the truck kind of almost. And I'm just going to slowly turn all the way to one way and just keep working it back and forth. Not sure if we'll spill a bit out the top there because of this, but. So that's all you're going to do, just go back and forth. Just trying to work all that air out of it and make sure all your lines are filled up. So as you can see, because I filled it too much, we made a bit of a mess, but oh well, we'll clean that up. But that's basically all you're gonna do. You're just gonna keep working that back and forth. I'm going to put the cap on here. I still got to put a couple things back on here before I can actually fire the truck up. But I think we'll just end this off here. If you have any more questions, don't be afraid to comment. I hope this video helped you out. And please like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.